I have the original comment that asked me to do this video, which is from Evie. So hi Evie, thank you so much for this video request. I love getting video requests. When I go quiet on YouTube, it's usually because I have no idea what to film. And then weeks go by. So I really appreciate this comment, Evie. So Evie asked if I could catch you up on if I'm still working and what ages do I teach. So yes, I'm still working. I teach nursery in the UK. I don't know if you're UK based, but I teach nursery, which I think is the equivalent of preschool in America. It is not statutory education, but most people in the UK do send their children to nursery. And we have two different systems in the UK. Well, actually we have three. So we have primary schools, which have nurseries attached. We have nursery schools, which are independent, just nursery schools, and then we have daycare centres, which is where parents pay extra so that their children can go before usual school time and stay later than usual school time, which in the UK tends to be from 9:15 till 3:15. So currently I'm working in a primary school nursery, which is completely different to what I've done in the past, because in the past I was a nursery school teacher, and at the moment I'm working in a primary school which is all of the way up to year 6, so that's up to 10 and 11 year olds, so it goes all the way up until children start high school. I'm qualified to teach right up to year 6, but I like the early years. I tend to only apply for jobs within that. So I've been at this school now for around 2.5 years. I started there on supply. If you watch me from way back, I used to be a deputy head and a Senko as well as a teacher in the nursery school, and it all got just way too much when I had 2 little babies and COVID happened. I got way too stressed and ended up leaving my job, had to sell our house and everything because we lost my income, and then I did supply teaching. And then through supply teaching, I actually got the job at the school that I'm working at now, and I really love it. It's a really nice school. We've just set it all up for Christmas. It's looking super cozy. I quite often share on my Instagram videos and things of me at work, because I know a lot of you are interested in the teaching side of what I do as well, but I'm trying to keep this account more faith-based because I feel like this channel is a bit more of a ministry channel. So I do share that on my Instagram. I've thought about making a teacher Instagram. I used to have one years ago. It was called Passionate Preschool, and I had like 6,500 followers, and I should have kept it because I think by now it probably would have grown massively, because this was years ago and teacher Instagram's really taken off, but I didn't. I deleted it, as you do. I didn't know whether to start another one, but then it's another commitment, because I obviously have my personal Instagram, then I have the Faith Lady one, and then I run my church Instagram, and then to also do a teaching one, I just think it might be a bit much, and I don't plan on teaching forever, so what's the point in building up this whole account and then quitting teaching? So I am currently teaching 3 and 4 year olds. I absolutely love it. They're little angels most of the time. Today I only had 8 children in. A lot of them didn't come in because it was so cold today. I think the parents just kept them in bed this morning, which I don't blame them for. It's not statutory in the UK to go to school until you are 5 years old, so attendance can be a bit rocky, but most of the time the children do come in every single morning. And the good thing about my job is that I'm only working part-time, so I only work mornings. We don't have an afternoon nursery in my school. The head teacher has asked if I will go full-time so that he can open an afternoon nursery, and I said at the moment that's not something that I would be willing to do. I could do it, and financially it would be great if I did it, but then I wouldn't be able to do things like this. I wouldn't have the freedom to go and collect the boys from school. It just gives me a lot more of a work-life balance. I mean, if you're a teacher yourself, or you know any teachers, you will know that work-life balance is a real struggle. So to be able to hold on to a part-time job, I'm not giving that up anytime soon. And I also have plans that I would love, love, love to homeschool my boys, but financially right now it's just not feasible. But every year I keep thinking, okay, next September, and then I just never get around to doing it, and I've prayed about it and I've really consulted the Lord on it for years, and the door has just never really opened. And I don't know if that's because God's waiting for me to step out in faith, because I know he'll provide for me because he always has and he always does. So I don't know if he's waiting for me to step out in faith and just do it. I feel like I'm waiting for like a yes, go for it, but I've had so many signs that it is what God wants me to do, and yet I still haven't stepped out in faith and done it. So hold the space. This is my thought patterns. This is what I would love to do. My children are getting a bit older now, so my oldest is now 8, he's in year 3, and my youngest is 5 and he's in year 1. And my oldest came home last week and was talking about how we all came from monkeys and he'd been taught at school, and we had to sit down and have a full conversation reminding him about creation and the creation story, and we opened our Bibles and looked at what God said. And it was really quite an eye-opening moment for me, because it wasn't even taught as a theory, it was taught as fact. And he also wasn't taught that there was other opinions on how the world was made. It was just, this is how the world was made. This is where you came from. All that kind of stuff. So but we won't get into that right now. Because it really starts to wind me up. And then Evie's asked, which Bible have you been currently using and how are your beautiful boys doing? Catch us up on YouTube. Okay, I have a lot of Bibles, but the ones that I mainly use, let me go grab them. So heavy. So the one that I mainly use is this one. It is the Artisan Collection Bible. I've showed you this lots of times on my channel. It's very old. It's starting to fall to pieces, but I find that this is kind of the one that I reach for the most. It has all of my old notes and highlights and things in, and it's not very heavy. So I find that this is the one on a morning when I'm kind of having my coffee and things. This is the one that I go for. It's just super easy to just flip open. It lies nice and flat. I feel really confident to just keep writing in it and adding notes to it. I don't feel like I need to worry about what I'm writing or make sure it's perfect or anything like that. I just go for it. So this is definitely the one that I reach for the most. But I also have 3 others that I use really regularly too, because I'm just that type of person. There is this one, which I know you've all seen before. I love this one. This is the one that I tend to take to church with me. It's nice and small, it fits in my bag, it's not heavy again, and I just like the look of it. I like how undistracting it is and simple it is. I also really love that it has these cream pages and it's just super easy to pick up when you're on the go. So regularly using this one. And then I've got my 2 new Bibles, which I did a comparison video on. Was it a comparison? Or did I just review them? I can't remember now. But I've got these 2 new ones, the Jesus Bible and the Every Woman's Bible. And I love both of these so much. And again, use them really regularly. This one I've found that I reach for probably more than this one. This one has been coming with me to our Bible studies on a Thursday night, purely because it's got study notes in the bottom, which really help when you're at a Bible study, because you can look at the study notes, which help you understand the passage that you're studying better. So really been loving this one. I've had so many compliments on this one as well. I think it's because it's such a beautiful blue colour, but this is definitely heavier than my other 2 that I've just shown you. So this isn't one that I particularly enjoy lugging around with me. It's more a stay at home if I'm doing a Bible study, or take it to Bible study with me on a Thursday night. And then the Jesus Bible I absolutely love. So I've done a video on this recently, studying through the book of Jonah, and this is something that I'm using as kind of my arts and crafts Bible. This changes all of the time. I just keep putting different stickers on it and things, and I've just got loads of kind of cutouts in here. It's when I'm feeling creative, whenever I'm having a creative moment and I don't just want to sit and read, I want to add post-it notes and go to town on it. This is the Bible for that. But I just want this to, when I'm done with it, be completely full of beautiful colours, bright colours, post-it notes, tip-ins, all different kinds of things, just so that it's a completely, like, goes with the rainbow top. So it's just a completely, like, scrapbooky, arts and crafty type Bible. That's my plan with this one. So I hope that answers your question. I don't just have one, I do have 4 that are in constant circulation, but I would say that this is probably my go-to, and I think it's just because of the amount of time that I've actually spent in this one. It just feels like home, this one. This one feels like my Bible, but I reach for the other ones just as much. It just so happens that this is the one that I use for my morning coffee time, so it's always sitting. I'll show you. It sits on this table and I sit here with my morning coffee and I do my Bible study. So I hope that answers your question. Sorry it's a long-winded one. Someone asked, which online commentary do you use? I use the Enduring Word commentary online. It's free. I've shared it lots of times. I've tried Bible Hub. I can't get away with it nowhere near as much as I like Enduring Word. Highly recommend. Okay, next question. What are your biggest plans and dreams for 2025 in regards to ministry? That's a great question. So I think when it comes to ministry, I definitely feel like women is somewhere that I feel most passionate about. And I think people find that hard to understand who know me, because I work with children and I'm a mother of small children. I think people automatically think that my ministry is children, but I really don't feel like it is. I mean, obviously, it partly is, but I feel like I'm more drawn towards women and helping women feel closer to God. So that is definitely something that I try and focus on. I would really like to grow this channel more next year. That has always been a dream of mine, to impact as many people as possible. I love doing social media and I keep meaning to really focus on my Instagram, and sometimes I get really good with it and I post every single day, and then I'll just go like 3 months without posting anything and I'm like, why have I done this? And I know all the right things to do. I know that I need to be disciplined and consistent. It's just sometimes I'm not. So my plan is to post consistently on YouTube and post consistently on Instagram, and maybe dip my toe into TikTok. I have got a TikTok account, but I very rarely post on there. And if I do, it tends to be something that I've already posted on Instagram. So I need to make it different. But I don't really consume much TikTok. Whenever I've gone on there, it's been like stuff that I don't really want to see anyway. I know that the algorithm will slowly start to figure out who I am and what I want to see. But I just don't know if I've got the time to commit to TikTok's algorithm getting to know me. So I tend to stick to Instagram and YouTube. And then at my church, I do run the women's meetings at my church. So I'd like to continue doing that. Our church has really started to grow over the last year. I think we had like 50 members maybe 2 years ago. And now I think we've doubled in that number, if not more. So it's really exciting time for our church. But I do find that intimidating as leading the women's meetings, because all of a sudden there's these ladies here who I have no idea who they are, where I used to know everybody, all their background, known them all for 30 years. Now I'm a bit like, who's this lady over here? So it's trying to think of ideas and run meetings that can cater to everyone. Now it's a bit harder. So I definitely would like to do better with that. Next question. How is your husband doing since being saved? Mine has just got saved. Oh, that's amazing. I'll be sure to say a prayer for you and your husband. My husband is doing excellent. I've really seen a big change in him. I keep meaning to do a video with him, but then I don't know if it would be a bit awkward. I don't know. But he's doing so well since he got saved. He's really on fire for the Lord. He now helps out with the computer at the church, so putting the words up on the screen, playing the music, designing slides for the notices and things, and he absolutely loves that, and it's really made him feel part of the church. So it's really exciting that he feels a part of the church now. And I've just seen a huge change, to be honest with you, in his personality, but I won't go into too much detail about that because that's his business. But I've definitely seen a change in him, which is great. Current worship songs you are enjoying. Let's have a look on my Spotify playlist. So the ones that I'm currently enjoying probably won't be new to any of you. I really do like the old stuff as well as the stuff that's coming through now. But CC Winans, don't know how to pronounce her second name, but Holy Forever, I love that song. I've really been enjoying Charity Gale lately, so I Speak Jesus and Thank You Jesus for the Blood. Great songs. I've got a huge playlist of songs, by the way. I'm just going through the ones that I particularly enjoy. I love With All I Am by Hillsong. I really love Phil Wickham. I also really like My Lighthouse by the Rend Collective. It's a nice, happy song that we sing in church sometimes. Just really fun. Those are some of my current favourites. Does your morning tea drink change with the season or just preference? No, my morning tea drink never changes. I have English breakfast tea every single morning with a splash of milk. Love it. Not really interested in flavoured teas. I've tried them. I like some, but English breakfast tea all the way, every single morning. And then I'll have about 5 cups throughout the day also. Usually at work I'll have 2. When I get home I'll have 1. I'll have 1 after I've eaten my tea, and then usually have 1 before I go to bed. Do you focus a theme word for the year? If so, what is it? Yes, I do. This year is peace. So I'm trying my very best whenever anything crops up to just think peace, peace, peace. And it's really been helping. I would say I've had a pretty peaceful year. I mean, it's nearly December. And when I think of last year and how much worry and stress and uncertainty I had, this year, just reminding myself of that word peace has certainly helped. I highly recommend having a word of the year because it really just keeps centering you, and it makes me go to prayer a lot more, because if I'm getting stressed and I think peace, I immediately pray. Planning on doing the whole Bible next year. Where should I start? Oh, I am doing this also. Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. I've already started. I am using this app. The reason that I am reading the Bible in a full year in 2025 is because I remember my brother gave me a Bible for Christmas. I'm trying to think, it was probably 4 years ago now, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. And it was just a basic Bible, and I thought, oh, it's not very beautiful, because you know, I like to go for my pretty aesthetic Bibles. And I thought, I'm just going to use this one to read. So I won't study in it, I won't highlight in it, it'll just be a reading Bible. I ended up highlighting in it, of course, because I can't not. But that year, I just went through that Bible, and I honestly don't think I've ever felt closer to God than that year. And I think it's because I was so deep into His Word, and I used this app. So I've downloaded it again. Actually, I'll just pop it up here. It's called Read and Plan, and basically it's very simple. This is what it looks like, but it takes you through the Bible in a year, and you can do different kinds of plans. So I'm doing thematic because I want to look at how themes go throughout the Bible. And then in this planner, which I showed in my last video, I've just written out a tracker for myself because I like to be able to tick off books as I go. So I've just made this tracker and I'm just going to tick once I've completed a book of the Bible. So I actually started this yesterday. I know it's not 2025 yet, but I thought I'm going to give myself a head start. Why not? Why wait till January the 1st when I can do it now? And literally all you do is you read Genesis 3 and then you just press that and it ticks it off for you. So simple. And it doesn't feel too overwhelming. It's literally 4 chapters a day of the Bible. So the reading plan that you can do is thematic, chronological, the M. Shane method, I hope I'm saying that right, a book at a time, through the Bible, or book by book. I'm not really sure of what all those different things are, but by all means, download the app. It's free. Have a look at it and choose the one that you want to do. I honestly think you should start with a reading plan, because if you try and do it by yourself, you probably won't do it because you end up going off on different tangents. Well, I do. I'll start in Genesis and then that'll make me think, oh, wasn't that something about that in Isaiah? Then I'll go over to Isaiah and then I'll think, oh, wasn't there something about that in Daniel? Then I'll go to Daniel, and you end up all over the place. So instead of reading through the Bible in a year, you end up studying different books of the Bible, which is also fine and great to do. But if you want to read the whole Bible in a year, I definitely recommend a reading plan. It just keeps you accountable, keeps you on track. It doesn't matter if you miss a day because it's still there the next day and you can just tick it off as you go, which is great. So that's my favourite way of doing it. Which Bible have you found yourself using the most out of the 2 you reviewed? Out of the 2, I would say these 2. I would say the one that I've used the most is probably this one, the Every Woman's Bible, just because of its study notes. It's really, really good. The only problem that I have with this Bible is there's not really that much room to take notes. So you can see here I've had to put some notes up here because there wasn't really much room down the side, but that's fine. I don't need to take notes in every Bible. It's just the kind of person that I am. When I read something, I like to jot down little notes, where this one has so much room for notes, but I don't find myself reaching for this one unless I'm in a creative mood. How are you getting on in your new home? We're doing really well. We've just decorated the living room, so we've put this green paint on one wall, maybe putting the TV up here and getting a log burner, but I'm not sure if that is going to plan. And it's all cozy now because we've got our Christmas decor up, but we're just slowly kind of going through each room and doing the jobs that need doing. By the way, do you like my jumper? Someone is praying for you. I got this off my friend Ruthie. She gives the best presents. It is the softest, I wish you could feel this, it is the softest material. It's just so cozy. I absolutely never want to take this off. It's so comfortable. We are slowly getting there. We've got some picture frames over there waiting to go up, either on this wall where the TV is or on this wall. We're not sure yet where they're going to go, which is why they are just plunked in the corner of the living room, because we're not really sure what we're going to do with them yet. But this room's definitely starting to feel more like home, and we've painted the kitchen white now and put shelves up rather than cupboards. And then upstairs, our bedroom is just a disaster. We've got paint. Actually, you probably saw in the last video, I noticed when I was editing, I was like, oh, there's paint samples on the wall and things behind. The shelves were a mess. I actually can't believe I filmed the last video in that room, because it was pretty bad. But anyway, we're trying to decide what to do with it, because this house when we bought it is just painted white in every single room apart from the bathroom, which I really like, but I want this house to be a lot warmer and cozier. So we've gone for cream and green in here. And then the back room, we've gone for a similar green, but it's also white walls, which I'm not sure whether to warm up the kitchen or not. But it certainly feels like home. We've been here, when did we move? I think it was March. So we've been here a good few months now. This is going to be our first Christmas. We're having our family over. We're all going to gather, a little extension on the back of the kitchen. We're all going to gather in there and have Christmas dinner, and I'm so excited. And it's a really nice location here and a very quiet street, so we're really enjoying living here right now. Okay, so I'm going to answer 2 more questions. What is your #1 favourite Bible translation? I'm currently looking to read another one. My favourite Bible translation is either the NLT, New Living Translation, or the NIV, New International Version. I love both of them. I find them very simple to read. I know that there's verses omitted, but they all add a star at the bottom. Let me find it so I can show you this, because I've had people ask me this quite a few times. So there are 16 verses that are omitted from the NIV. If you just Google it, it pops up with the verses that are missing, but this one says, so Matthew 17:21. So when you read in the NIV, I've never came across a Bible that doesn't do this, and I have a lot of different Bibles. Can you see that at the bottom here, after verse 20, it has a star? And then if you go to the star, the little note down here says, some manuscripts add verse 21. And then it tells you what verse 21 is, but this kind of demon won't leave except by prayer and fasting. So although the verse is omitted, it does tell you it at the bottom anyway, so as long as you're checking your star points, you're not going to miss that verse. So that's what I tend to do. And then if I'm doing any particular kind of Bible study anyway, I would have my King James version with me, which is just a little cheap black King James that I got off Amazon. You can always Google what the omitted verses are, and then you can just tape them in if you particularly want a certain Bible and it only comes in NIV or NLT. It's something that I'm aware of. Just make sure that I know that those verses have been omitted. And then the last question is, hey, how do you stay consistent with your Bible reading and prayer time? So the way that I stay consistent is I have my Bible right next to the couch. So it's right there. So it's exactly where I put my cup of coffee on a morning. So when I get up, stumble into the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and walk into the living room, I put my cup down there and there's my Bible, so I just immediately pick it up. Like I say, having a Bible reading plan really helps. But this morning, for example, I just read a psalm. Sometimes I'll read a psalm. If I don't have a clue what to do, I'll look at the date and I'll read the proverb that matches up to that date, because there are 31 proverbs, so there's always one for every day of the month. So it's kind of a habit that I've built, that every single morning I open it and I read something. And another way that I stay consistent is that I follow people who influence me to open my Bible. So I love to watch people who are just naturally going about their lives, but they're opening their Bibles and sharing what they've read. So I really love a girl on YouTube. She's called Celeste Rianne Man, I think that's her YouTube channel name. Actually, I'll share all of my favourites in the description box, so if you click on that, if you go over to any of their channels or pages, please tell them that I sent you as well. Coffee and Bible Time, absolutely love their channel. They do so many amazing Bible studies. Casey Nicole, love her channel. How to Faith a Life, loads of different girls out there who I watch and then they make me want to read my Bible because they're so passionate about it. So I definitely recommend you go check out their YouTube channels. And then on Instagram, I just follow loads of different Christian creators. So I'll share all of their handles. Are they called handles? Their names, their at names. I'll share all them so you can go check them out as well, because they really help me. Like, I have a private Instagram, which is basically just friends and family, and then I have a faith account, and my faith account, honestly, like, I'll show you now. When I go through my feed, it's nearly all Christian, so it's Christian quotes. It'll have, well, I mean, that's an advert, but it'll have people's Bibles. I don't actually know what I'm looking at. Oh, this is a bookshop that I follow. It's just very wholesome, influential Christian kind of account. Just lovely little things like this that I thoroughly enjoy looking at. And there's some teacher things in there too. This is Casey that I was just telling you about, Casey Nicole on YouTube. Just things like that. Just make my heart happy, make me want to reach for my Bible. Okay, catch up done. Cup of coffee is empty. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to contact me on Instagram or just drop a comment down below. Please don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't subscribed already, please hit subscribe. I've got so many people that are watching me regularly but aren't actually subscribed, and it really helps my channel if you subscribe. So if you're a regular viewer, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.
You watch me under the light, so keep me in your sight, 'cause I can do this all night.